Hello and welcome to some fly tying. Today I'm gonna tie this pike fly, which is from the Danish guy Morten Valeur. You probably know him. He's one of the Ahrex guys. So I have a few changes to the fly due to I'm out of the large chenille and I'm out of this wave tail. So I'm gonna tie this with feathers instead of this wave tail. But I'll tie it so I can change it to a wave tail later on. I'll take this one down. You can see this lovely pattern. Very good fly. You can cast this on a 6 weight actually, according to Morten. But I've never tested it yet. It's only 2 days since I saw this fly the first time. So this will be my third fly. I have prepped my station with the materials I'm gonna use. We're gonna start up with the tail, which I'm gonna use feathers instead of this wave tail. And then we're gonna have some saddle feathers normally used for tying dry flies and stuff like that. More hackles, sorry. Then we're gonna use some ostrich. Then we're gonna use some flash and the chenille. We're gonna use some bucktail and ostrich again, and some Nayat and some flash. And dry fly feathers again, some flash. A little bit of dubbing in orange dubbing, and we're gonna finish up with head of Craftfur. So let's get rocking and starting with this little shank. This you can use any kind of shank actually. You can tie the tail up so you can't change it, or you can tie it on a little shank so you can change the tail to another color, or fish without it, or whatever you want. So first of all, I have my little shank. It's from Spawn fly fish, and then I'm gonna take 3 cock feathers and we're gonna tie them in here, just on top here. I'm tying this in with just 30 denier GSP thread, because there's not a lot of space to tie in here, but it doesn't really matter because the pikes don't take the tail, let's take the hook, so it's pretty durable actually. So like this, I'm gonna finish this one up with some nuts and some glue. So, like that. And we have finished the tail. And then we're gonna take some super glue. Just to be sure it won't collapse or disappear. So that's finished. And now for the hook. Sorry, I forgot my hook. Just a minute. Very sorry for that. I thought I was pretty good prepared, but So the hook I'm using is an Ahrex TO605. It's the Trout Predator Streamer Light in 4.0. And we're gonna fasten that to the vise. Then I have cut off some wire, approximately 10-12 centimeters, and I put on a small silicone pearl, and then I'm gonna attach my tail to this, and I'm gonna pull off the pearl, and I'm gonna thread my wire back through the pearl, and the tail is actually ready to tie in here. As you see, it's very flexible. So we're gonna start off with 100 denier thread, GSP of course. I would like my flies to hold for a long time. And we're gonna take the thread down to the hook bend, approximately. So now we are ready to rock and roll, like that. Then I'm gonna take my wire with my tail and just leave approximately 1 centimeter of wire after the hook bend, and it will slide down to the side, so we just push it up on top, and we're gonna fasten it there. And we go up here to approximately 2 centimeters from the guy. I'm gonna cut this one off. I don't have my good pliers, it's out in the shop, so just gonna cut them here. This one, like that. And we're gonna tie down this wire firmly. Doesn't really matter that you don't fasten the wire better than this, because it won't slip or anything. The pike, they won't catch it with the teeth. So something like that. And my material clamp, just hook it onto here, like that. Then you are good to go. Then you have finished the tail. Just have to turn my wires a little bit. You finish the tail and tied in the wire with the tail. So now you're good to go and start up with the actually tying of the fly. I'll just leave this to dry a little bit so my materials won't get stuck to the hook shank, like that. Then we're gonna tie in some saddle feathers here. I just stripped off 5 feathers or something like that. So I'll put 2 on each side and 1 on the top. 2 on this side, and then we're gonna take 2 more on the other side. Something like that. And then I'm gonna take 1 more on the top. And we're just gonna tie these one down, just for filling. So, and then I'm gonna take 2 cocknecks, 1 on each side. now we basically have covered up the tying point and the space between the hook and the tail. So now that's pretty much covered in. You can see that's already starting to have a nice taper on it. And then we're gonna take some ostrich. I don't have the longest ostrich, but it'll do. I would have to have the ostrich to be just a tiny whiny bit longer than this. And this I'm gonna tie in on the top and a little bit on the side, not under the fly. So tie this one down, and then we're gonna take just a tiny bit of flash. Just lost one of the fibers, and we're gonna take some flash and start off with some neon flash, I think it's called. It's just a white flash, like that. It's a good amount of flash, so just gonna cut this one off. It's a bit long. I think it's called it's a fluorescent neon flash. It's from Hedron. It's this white flash I'm using. And from Hedron too, I have some pearly flash here. And we're just gonna take a small amount of this flash too, just a tiny bit. I think I have 7 or 8 strands of flash here. Not all the way to the end, but almost to the end of the tail, just to have a little bit of bling effect. And we're just gonna twist this a little bit, like that. So now we've got some flash in the tail too, just a tiny amount. I'm gonna fold this back, just fasten this one, cut it off. Then we're gonna take our chenille. After I have glued this one like crazy, like that. Let it dry for a little bit. And as I said, I should have used the long, large cactus chenille, but it doesn't really matter that much because it's just for filling up the gap between the tail section and the actually front section. Most of the fly will happen from here and forward. So we're gonna stop approximately here. Then from here we're gonna have bucktail, Nayat, feathers and flash, and the head. So probably around here, I think. When you're finished with tying up the oh, I forgot the head, or just before the head, when you're finished with the Nayat and the flash and the feathers, you should have approximately 1 centimeter left for tying up the head. So now we're gonna stop here. I think that's about it. It doesn't really matter that much. If you have too much space left, you just tie in a tiny bunch of flash feathers or what you like. So now we're here, and now we're gonna take the bucktail. And we're going to reverse tie this one and build up a dam in front of the bucktail. I think that's about it. And we're looking for, I don't know, approximately him or something like that. Just gonna cut off just a tiny bit. So, and we're gonna reverse tie this one, so just gonna put it up here, take some loose wraps, and then we're just gonna mangle it around, something like that. So, and we're just gonna tie this one good, like that. And then we're gonna take my, it's just an old marker I'm using as a push tool. So, and I'm not gonna tie into the feather, I'm gonna build up this little dam in front. And the bucktail I have taken is from the bottom of the bucktail, so nearest the animal. And if you don't know what that is, this is the bottom section. There's a lot of more. There's a lot of air in the fibers in the bottom compared to the ones in the tip. So we're just gonna build up this little dam here, so it flares nice, something like that. And because I don't have a Nayat brush, I'm gonna do some Nayat in a dubbing loop. But it's, if you're using the Nayat brush, you should only take approximately 2 turns, nothing more, because if you take any more, it'll be too dense and too heavy. I'm gonna tie in some ostrich feathers here again, on the top and a little bit on the side, like that. Just gonna tie this one down, like that. So, and then we're gonna make, sorry for the sound, dubbing loop. Just go a little bit against the hook eye, and then I'm gonna take some wax. I'm using a good amount of wax at the time on my flies, because I'm tying with this GSP thread, and it's a synthetic thread, so it's very slippery. Sorry for that. My English is a little fucked today. Sorry for that. Sorry. Then I'm gonna take my dubbing twister, a wheel or whatever kind you're using. It doesn't really matter as long as you're happy with your materials and your tools. You can use whatever kind you want. I'm just gonna get hold of my materials, so, and then I'm gonna take my Nayat and feed it into this dubbing loop. It can be a little bit tricky, so bear over with me if this will go to some place you won't say in public. Oh, it can be a little bit tricky to do a loop with so long fibers. It's I don't really have a trick for it other than I'm doing the spinning horizontally, not vertically, so I can actually take my fibers away from the fly. I'm just gonna use my dubbing needle here just to align the fibers as good as I can before I spin it up. And I leave about 2 centimeters from the fly into the dubbing loop, so it won't get caught up in the fly. Then I'm gonna cut off these fibers on the other side. You can do it as close as you want. And then I'm gonna spin up this one. And we just gonna, oops. And we're just gonna help the fibers a little bit so they won't get tangled up in each other. Just help them on. Just don't pull too much because it's not fastened that much yet. So just help the fibers. Oh, I think they are secured. Or not. I think I fucked up a little bit. Sorry for my Danish, but this is not an easy task. You can tie them in normal manners, but sometimes it works and sometimes you just goes ballistic and it won't work. This is not very pretty, I know, and I'm just gonna cut this one off, and nope, this won't work. Sorry for that. This won't work at all. I'm just gonna cut off this loop. Oh, Jesus Christ. Sometimes you just hate Nayat when you don't have a brush, proper tools to work with, so I'm just gonna, that's a problem because that's the last of my white Nayat. So now we out of stock. So we're just gonna tie them in, reverse tie these fibers here. With the same amount as 2 turns of a dubbing brush. And now I got white Nayat fibers all over the place. I'm just gonna do some vacuum cleaning afterwards. So now, oh, that's the wrong way. We're gonna measure this. You can see this folds pretty badly, so it's not the best Nayat. And it's a bit yellow in the end, so I'm looking for a nice tapering like this. So just gonna cut off this. So I'm gonna do this in 2 sections. So I'm building up a good volume on the fly here, and we're looking for Nayat all around the fly. So the first bundle I'm gonna tie in front, This is not reverse tying, this is just normal tying. And we're just gonna push the fibers all around the fly. Like that. And then I'm gonna go back a little bit here. Just fasten it good. Something like that. You can see the Nayat is, it's not a pretty fly, but I think we can do it. So now I just have to cut off these tip ends like that. I'm just gonna tie this down, and we're going up to here, and we're just gonna use a bit of super glue or whatever you prefer. Something like that. And then I'm gonna take my last bundle of Nayat. Make this a little bit shorter, I think. Just a tiny. Like that. And I'm gonna reverse tie this one. And we're just gonna mangle it around the hook. You can see it would be a little bit easier if you had the knife brush. Then it's just 2 turns and you're off to the next step. Something like that. Oh, it was not the best way. So, there we go. So, I'm just gonna fold these one out. I'm gonna use my push tool again, I think. Something like that. Just setting up the dubbing needle here. I have some fibers on the other side of the hook here. So that's about it. And we're just gonna take 1, 2, 3 turns. Actually, I think I'm gonna use a dam instead. I think that'll be much better for the fly. Or else I'll lose some of the volume. Like that. And then I'm gonna use some flash again. This white neon flash. Pretty awesome flash, if you ask me. And we're just gonna tie this one in here. What the heck? I'm just gonna do that once more. Here we go. Just a little bit on the top and a little bit on the sides. And we're just gonna fold this one back. And as I was saying in the start of the video, you can cast this fly on a 6 weight, according to Morten. So I've never tried it, so we'll see. They are spawning at the moment, so it's not allowed to fish for the pikes anyway. So And when they finish spawning, we are ready for some surface fishing or popper fishing. That's one of the things I'm looking forward to. And we're gonna fold these on the other side. Just gonna taper this a little bit. Like that. I'm just gonna fold this back. Something like that. And you can see the fly has a pretty nice tapering to the fly. So, and then we're gonna use some more saddle feathers. Gonna take again 2 on each side and 1 on the top. You can see there's a lot of things going on here at the end of the fly. So, and we're gonna take 2 more on the other side here. Something like that. And we're gonna cut off the stem ends. And we're gonna do some, oh, that's another one. I just forgot one. Like that. Gonna tie these butt ends down. So, and we're gonna use some super glue. Like that. And then we're gonna take some, I was thinking of adding this flesh, it's called, just for a little more tapering of the fly, but I think I'm gonna use it on the next fly because I think it build up too much volume to the fly, or weight to the fly. So, but you can use this flesh, it's called. So we're gonna take our orange dubbing and we're gonna tie this one in on the shoulders on each side. Just gonna spin the thread, and we're gonna have another one on the other side. Like that. And fold it back. Something like that. And then we are ready to finish up the fly with the head of Craftfur. So, my material clamp, hair clamp actually. So I'm gonna, oh, I just love this sound. No, I really don't. So, all the way to the end. And we're gonna put on some wax on the thread. Many of you know that Craftfur is quite slippery, and my dubbing wheel. And then we're gonna take our Craftfur and feed it onto the, there's a loose fibre there. And I know for sure this loose fibre will get mangled. So just gonna spread it out here. again, cut it as close to the loop as possible, and we're gonna spin this one like crazy. Take my topping brush just to help them out so they won't get tangled, or else you'll just have this thick yarn loop, and that's nothing we want. And we are gonna spin it some more. So now I'm gonna take my brush and I'm really gonna mangle this one. So I'm gonna take my haggle pliers and moisten my fingers and crack the fibers to one side. And we're just gonna finish up with the head here. Just all the way to the hook eye, and then we will go back with the thread up into the materials and build up a little thread head, finishing up with some orange thread just for the looks of the fly. You can take some jungle cock feathers on the side if you want. This fly is not a fly with eyes, it's just a fishing fly. So, and I was asking Morten about his fly, why most of his fly is blind, they have no eyes. I was just wondering why he didn't have that, but he don't use eyes for the flies. It's not that important with an eye on a fly. Just needs to be attracted to the fish. And when they're eating, they don't look at the fly if the fly has no eyes or one eye. So I know for sure that my future flies would be tied without an eye. Yeah, it looks good, I know, but you have all the difficulties. You're out fishing and pretty fast you're losing an eye on the fly, and it's your best fly and blah blah blah, and then you can't fish it, and well, you actually can't, because according to him the fish doesn't care if you got an eye on the fly or you don't have an eye on the fly. And we all know how annoying it is to put flies on a pike fly. Won't last long, and you have all these things, and then you should use UV resin, and you should use this and that, and it doesn't really matter. So now the fly is actually finished, so now I'm just gonna build up a little head here, just a tiny one, going back into the feather, or into the fibers, so something like that. Just finish up with some knots like that, and then we're gonna cut off this one, and then we're gonna take our orange thread. You can take any kind of orange thread you want, fluorescent or not, or hot orange or whatever you want. It's all up to you. The thread I'm using here is it's just called It's an 8.0 fluorescent hot orange. It's from Textreme. It's quite fluorescent thread actually. So something like that. And we're gonna take my whip finisher and we're gonna whip finish this. Just do it a couple of times so we're sure that this will last for a long time. Put some fibers on. So, like that. And cut off the other one. Give the head a little bit of glue. So, there you have it. The fly is finished. It looks pretty awesome. It's a pretty decent fly. So, thanks for watching, and if you're not subscribed to the channel, I will be very happy if you'll subscribe to my channel and click on the little bell so you will get noticed when I'll post some more videos. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.